Okay, and welcome to today's program. I'd like to introduce our speakers today, Falguni and Hema. They're
Hello.
both partners at SmartMove Immigration. And SmartMove is a specialist immigration law firm that works with businesses and HNIs to evaluate strategies to expand their businesses in the UK, USA, Canada, Bulgaria, Portugal, and also in the Caribbean countries. They help in setting up subsidiaries or branches, and they acquire permanent residents and things like that. They're led by a qualified solicitor. The company has experienced lawyers providing advice and assistance. By the way, Falguni has also been interviewed in BBC many times, where she's given her opinion on UK immigration policies. What I find unique about their company is that they have a quite a big vision. They're kind of aligned with the whole Atmanirbhar Bharat, it's like self-reliant India. So they just don't want to look like international companies coming and becoming big in India. But why don't companies in India actually go and become big in other countries? So that's kind of their big vision, and so they want to help and assist their clients all the way. So anyway, let's welcome both of them. Hi guys, how are you guys? I think
Hello,
both
Rishi.
mics are off. Came on.
Hello, Rishi. Hi. Good evening,
Hi,
everyone.
Falguni.
Hello.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for having us in your show today. And good
yeah.
evening to all the participants joining us today.
Thank you both of you for coming, and let's get this started. So, uh, I like to start off by understanding people's journeys, like what inspired them, what drove them to do what they do. So, rather than the standard introduction of what they did, I'd like to hear from you how you started this and where it is today, and what's the plan for to the future. Yeah.
Hello, I am Falguni Parik. I'll first introduce myself. I'm sure Rishi's spoken about me in his introduction. So I am the founder partner at SmartMove Immigration, and I'm a qualified solicitor from UK, and I specialize in giving immigration and nationality advices to the clients. So very interestingly, Rishi, and to everybody who's joined us today, basically I'm qualified in the UK, and we used to advise on immigration matters there. But I realized that in India this particular industry is still very unorganized. It's very unstructured, and I felt that there's a gap in terms of if somebody's aspiring to expand, somebody's aspiring to grow. Um, the only people that they had a recourse to go to was travel agents and tour operators, where there was a limitation in terms of the legal knowledge as well as the experience required to handhold such an important decisions and execute them appropriately, to strategize, to look into the various aspects that needs to be mindful of once they're entering into. And in my experience, was I was based in the UK, I was in London, and used to get a lot of calls from clients from within India as well. And sometimes the damage was very sometimes the damage was something that you can't really sit and undo. So we felt that there's a lot of need for a structure here. There's a need for qualified advisors. There's need for experienced people to be there to help and assist companies, individuals in in this particular industry. So that's what brought us here to India, and since we've been here about from 2009 onwards, we started with advising on UK immigration and nationality laws, but very soon we've added on more countries like USA, Canada, European countries, and now we advise to most of these places. We also have presence in Mumbai, Delhi, and in Bangalore as far as India is concerned. but we also represent clients all over the globe. So we, having been based in India, does not really restrict us. And we've got clientele from Middle East, we've got clientele from Africa and in US as well, and we've represented them successfully in their aspirations to grow, to expand, and meet their individual as well as their business needs.
Okay, so I just want to understand one thing. Did both of you guys start this together? Because I'm still confused about that. So, Hemang, you want to? How did you get part of this?
So Falguni is the founder. She's the one that got the ball rolling, and I think everybody else just joined in after that. So, we're present in 4 cities today. We have about 25 odd associates servicing clients in 20 odd countries. But she started off that journey, and we built it in from there. So I've looked at kind of signing up with corporate clients, doing institutional tie-ups, and all the rest of it, and looking at providing in-country support. But yeah, I'm happy to be part of the management team. But I have to give credit where credit's due in terms of getting her to get that started.
Awesome. All right, great. So when I was looking up about your company, you guys said that you all have existing countries that you expand and migrate is UK, USA, Canada, Portugal, Bulgaria, Malta, and Caribbean.
Yes.
Why only these countries? I mean, is it that the other countries have other hassles? What was the reason you guys chose these list of countries?
I think these countries have a stronger passport, they have a stronger economy, and it is more preferred in terms of the clientele base. I'm not saying the others are not, but because every every kind of companies would have their individual goals in terms of expansions and in terms of the strategies, but this is where we foresee that they will require more such assistance. Having said that, I will ask my associate Mr. Hemang to build on more to this particular reply here.
So it's very interesting because part of it comes in from the ease of access. So as Falguni mentioned, it's easier, or there are certain client preferences, or companies have a vision to say that they want to scale up. And if you look at the wish list, so, if you were to run a poll across for the people who are attending to say, okay, where do you want to expand your business today? I think the North America and Europe will get the highest kind of preferences to say that, because they represent a big chunk in terms of the higher margins and the ease of access to those markets and all the rest of it. So for us, it has been a mix in terms of where the people wanted to go and where the traffic was higher, and also in terms of the services that we could provide. And the vision obviously is to kind of bring more countries into the ambit. So like Falguni mentioned, we started off focusing exclusively on the UK, but over the last 5 or 6 years, we've expanded to include Canada, the US, Europe, and Portugal, and those countries as well as the Caribbean. So the vision definitely is to kind of add to this practice as we go along, depending on what the market needs are, and what is it that we anticipate the market's going to do in the times ahead.
Okay, so in terms of helping clients to move abroad, like how do you expand your customers' business abroad? Can you talk a little bit about what are the things that you do for your clients?
Yeah, I've got just a slide for Falguni to talk through on that. So I'll just put that up on the screen. It'll make it easier for that.
So we love technology, Rishi. We've always used technology to help our clients, and I think the starting point here with all these clients is to understand their objective. What is their objective? What is their selection of the country? And then from there on, we kind of walk them through in terms of what are the various pathways, what are the various routes, what are the pros and cons, depending upon where they are. And before, like, we go into all of this, I think it's still a very, very wonderful opportunity for all the Indian companies. And here, when I speak about Indian companies, I speak both for a large corporates as well as for the SMEs. That is a huge opportunity, and having a presence outside India adds quite a lot of to the credentials of your company's presence in your home country, um, as well as adding on to the revenues that you would achieve. So, so coming back to the process, the way we help is, yes, we do the pre-screening where we understand your objectives very, very clearly here, and based on that, we advise you on which are the best routes available, and how should we go about. We also review your paperwork and documentation, because it's all about representation about your case there. We complete the entire applications, and we walk them through with the supporting documents, etc., that they require. And finally, once, like, they have achieved, we help them in all of the setting up processes that's required, and make sure that they are complying with the requirements, and whatever handholding is required post they enter a new country. We try to support as much as we can from our end, from our firm's perspective. Hima, would you want to add
Okay.
anything more up over here onto this one?
No, so I think just in addition to the bits that Falguni has mentioned, I think from our perspective, what really helps to set us apart is the in-country support that we can give to our clients. So whether it is in terms of doing feasibility studies, figuring out a market entry strategy for them, or even just hand-holding them once they're in a new country, so they can focus on what they do best, which is to kind of market their products, sell their products, offer their services, and we take care of everything else at the back end. Could be as mundane as looking for housing for their senior executives, or figuring out which schools that they would want to send their kids to. Starting from that, going all the way up to kind of devising and market entry strategy or framework, recruiting local talent for them, and all the rest of it. So really, we take the pain away from helping companies and individuals grow. So if someone's got an idea, someone's got a concept, and or they've got an existing product or a business and they want to take it to the next level, then we can provide in our business growth services to help them make their dreams a reality.
See, I see. Okay, so just a quick thing I want to just suggest to all the people who are to do that. I think a few people joined in a little later. Guys, if you all have questions, as you are hearing both Hemang and Falguni explain certain concepts, and if you're looking at your own business and you want to think in terms of expanding abroad, just use the Q&A box. It will be somewhere at the bottom, and ask your question. I do have one question which is connected with what you just said, Hemang, which is like, what has been right now, what you guys do? Are there competitors who are doing exactly what you do for your customers, or are you guys in a very unique position where mainly people will connect with travel agencies to help them with going abroad, or there are companies like yours that do this kind of work for clients? And what is the normal, what percentage of people are doing it on their own versus going to getting assistance from organizations like yours to expand their business? Can you kind of highlight and expand a little bit on that? Yeah.
So it's a very interesting question that you've asked, and it's a mix in terms of the answers as well, because as a company, we are very fortunate in that we are unique where we can provide an end-to-end solution. We have service providers in the market who might do one element of this service. So they might either help with the advice, because they're pure play law firms. They might either help with the ticketing or the logistics, because they are into logistics or anything in that space. They're into management consulting, but they can't kind of understand the legal aspects of it. So what happens is we sit across a happy medium where we can go across the spectrum, where a client is only interacting with a single point of contact. So, there's a relationship manager in essence who walks them through this entire spectrum. And really, it's up to the client in terms of how much support do they require. We worked with bigger companies who've kind of given us a mandate in terms of looking at the whole market entry strategy, getting people on board, and getting warehouses and office spaces. We work with family offices who are only looking at the contingency measures for their family members, where they might just want to make a specific investment in a particular company or anything. So they might not be looking at some of the other parts of the service. So we are in that position that we can singularly deliver this to our clients, whatever is their preference, and we have the expertise in house, so we don't actually have to go out and liaise with any third party. So generally, what does happen is we see that we get a lot of these travel agents, consultants, and those people coming in to us because they've managed to do one part of the piece, but now they need support on the other ends to say that, okay, look, how do we do this from here, kind of a thing. So then we step in and we can kind of see that through. So the benefit that people get when they work with us is a diversity in terms of services and the frequency with which we do it. I mean, last year, even during the pandemic, we helped almost 65 businesses from India to relocate to the UK, expand to the US, and also to Canada as well. And Portugal, which was another area. So even during a lockdown, we were able to facilitate that. So when the markets started opening up in September, October, they were not waiting on the opportunity. So we had a design company which is into making packaging boxes, for pizzas and medicines and everything else. And for them, this is great because e-commerce is taking off, with everything else. So, for them, they were ready to pop into the market, and they've already increased their sales by 200% in just 3 months that they've been in the UK. So we've had instances where we've been able to help clients to plan so that they can leverage these opportunities and not wait whilst they're looking at getting things done.
So is it like people physically make the transition and they get an office over there, or they just do everything in an online fashion, but they have a presence of some sort? Can you clarify a little bit on that? Like, is it that they actually get an office there and a presence there?
Sure.
They're immigrating and moving. It's actually physical moving, or
it's both.
How does that
it's
work?
both. I mean, so if people want to set up a physical presence and they want to move their senior executives or they want to move their business themselves, and they are the key drivers and they want to do this physically with their families, we can facilitate that. If they want to set up a virtual presence and they want to appoint people in those countries, either as distributors or as employees, we can even facilitate that. Falguni last year, she's going to talk a little bit more about the work that she did with the bond scheme in Portugal. So I think it's best if you build on that, Falguni.
Yes, so Rishi, this is a country which is very known for entering into for a permanent residency program, and in here you have a minimum commitment to stay, and the most popular route to enter this country was always been the real estate. But what happens last year was we kind of studied this more closely in terms of would that be another ways, because there was a lockdown, there was restrictions on travel. However, there was still companies and individuals who were looking to set up and have a presence in there, and that's where we came to know something which was a very, very new, though not very popular, but it would have been an ideal scenario to invest in something which is like a financial instrument. And this is something that you could sit back at your home, you could study about the fund that you were going to put in your money, and would still allow you to get into the program for permanent residency and do away with scouting of the property and travel and all of that there. So so I think this was very interesting from the firm's perspective, and we started receiving queries from the client to say, look, we want to get into the program. And since the more popular route was to do a real estate investment, you cannot really physically do that because it does require you to travel to do diligences, check on what are you signing in and things like those. so those restrictions were there, and here's where the possibility of investing into something like as simple as a financial instrument, which was just click 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 kind of a thing for the client perspective, became very easy for them to get into program, get started, and not wait in this uncertainty on when are the things opening up, when will they actually be able to travel and get this up and running or get executed, and they could get on with their expansion programs, or get on with their businesses which they had in their mind as far as Portugal is concerned. So yes, that's how we had been very successfully able to handle and assist our clients during even the lockdown period, given the challenges that it had with the travels, etc.
Nice, great. We've already started getting some questions from the audience, so
Okay.
I will be taking. Yeah, we'll take some of the questions from there. This has been very interesting so far. But before I take those questions, there are a few questions that some of them emailed it to me because they said they may not be able to make it at 4. So I'll just go with those questions first, and then I will start the questions from the audience itself right now who are on the call. Yeah, so guys, if you want to ask questions, please click on Q&A and just type in your question, and we'll get to it in order. The first one, the person was saying, asking, what is the minimum investment needed for somebody who's still considering whether they should do the expansion or not, because they had no idea what the numbers are. Can you guys expand on what those numbers would look like, or just your reference point? Oh, okay, you got some slides. Great. Let's take a look at it. Awesome.
Right. So for UK, if you see on our screen here, and if you're looking to expand in the UK, there is a very popular route, which is an investor route. And you require about £2 million of an investment to go through with, and you get your settlement rights. Whereas you have another categories which are like sole representative categories or tier 2 categories, which requires no minimum investment. So depending upon, again, as I said, sometimes the reservations is to say, oh, we're looking at expansion, which means there will be investment required, and this is something that changes the mind of an entrepreneur to say, no, then let's not do it this time, kind of a thing. But there's always a way around. So even if you're not doing a minimum investment, you can still have a presence in country like UK. We also have Portugal. Portugal is about 350,000 euros. Trust me, this is a price, Rishi, that you can buy an accommodation in Mumbai, isn't it? So why not in Portugal? Because you buy that, you invest that kind of an amount, you not only get a real estate in your portfolio, but you also get an access for yourself and your entire family that allows you to do work, to do businesses, to do study. It opens up a gateways to a lot of countries in Schengen areas, and the popular industries in Portugal are basically tourism, textile, food processing, etc. My colleague Himang would walk you through with the other country options that you would have for expansion purposes.
Okay, before we move to USA and Canada, I just want to check with you on the Portugal part, but that seems interesting. So you're saying we just buy a property and it becomes, and as a result of investing in that property, you get the citizenship and
That's right, and you can also rent this property. So it's buy-to-let property. You can earn in euros as well, and you also can get your citizenship in that country.
And then when the price is right, and let's say if you're not wanting to continue there, you can always sell the property because
yes,
it's an investment. It's not gone.
It's not gone. It's not a cost. It's an investment.
It's an investment which most likely property prices will go up at some point of time. Great.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. Hemang, you wanted to take on USA and Canada. Sorry.
Hello, Hemang.
Hemang, can you hear us? Or did he?
Yeah. So
oh, he's there.
I can hear you clearly. Yes. I am. Yes. As Falguni mentioned, one of the areas that people have misconception at times is to say that if you want to expand abroad, we're going to need a lot of money to expand. But actually, that's not the case because like with the UK, we looked at the sole representative visa where there's no minimum commitment. You could expand your business in Canada from as little as 1 to 2 CR in rupee terms from an investment perspective. So really what we look at doing is to identify what's an appropriate route. So we might have some companies which are at the startup stage, which might not have a higher turnover. And they might still want to explore the markets. We could look at that. We could have some companies at a kind of a mid-range where they have a turnover of maybe say 5 to 6 CR, and we work with clients who have 1,000 crore turnover as well, and really the ease with which the routes are now open and the opportunities which are now available. It's just that there's a lack of information at times, that clients are not aware that they could do something like this at a fraction of a cost, and they don't really have to spend millions to kind of start a business in another country.
I see. Okay, so there was another question that was from the same person, which is what is the time period? Like, I mean, it might vary from country to country, but typically, this whole process, how long does it take before they can actually start business abroad? And if it ranges, what are the different ranges in each country?
Well, I mean, if you look at it from UK's perspective, you could generally get a decision on an application within 3 to 4 weeks time. So it's really that quick. Whereas USA and Canada takes slightly longer because they have multiple stage processes, so they could vary between 3 to 6 months, depending on the category and depending on the factors in there. And Portugal is probably between 3 to 5 months as well. So realistically, anywhere between a month to 6 months is what you could take for a process to get through.
Right, right. Uh, this is a question that was asked by somebody else because it was connected with, with the whole COVID and everything. You did mention earlier that even during the lockdown, you guys were able to help clients. So COVID is not a showstopper. It doesn't prevent people from expanding business. Can you shed a little bit more light on this concern that people might have? Are we at this point of time? How can we talk of expanding? Everything is locked down, COVID children, all of that stuff. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah. It's an interesting thought because last year in I think April or May we ran through a web event which it was like is COVID a hard reset or is it a short-term blip? And we had industry experts from hospitality, from catering, from ticketing, travel agencies. So we had a whole panel which talked about whether this is going to be a hard reset or a short-term blip, and we're already starting to see now with the news on the vaccine and everything coming through that there's a rebound which is coming in as well. And the key part to remember is that as a people we are very resilient. So in Africa, for example, you have the yellow fever and all the rest, but we just get a yellow fever vaccine if you're going to be traveling to that part of the world. Or we had the Zika and the SARS as well early on, and we've kind of moved past it. Countries like UK, Canada, they get people to take a health check before they travel. So if you're migrating to Canada or if you are traveling to the UK for a longer duration, you need to get a TB test done. So as a people, we've adapted it, we made it part of our process, and we've moved on from there. So this is COVID is going to be one of those areas as well, to say that we will get through our vaccines and then move on. So it's more of a short-term blip in the way things are working rather than fundamentally changing the way things are going to be.
Well, that's good to know. And I guess we have some questions coming in from the audience. The first question is from Arvind. He says, I'm an owner, a CA cum consulting firm in India. Which country is most suitable to expand for his kind of business?
Falguni, do you want to take that?
Yes, Arvind. Hi, thank you for your query up over there. You can look into UK as well as USA. These are the places where there will be a lot of uh, inbound work. So inbound in India, there are companies who would want to set up. Also, most of the time, what you could also do is hire resources from within and start practicing within that area of accounting in that particular country. So most of the some of the very good accounting firms that we work with have similar kind of strategies, which is also something that you can look into. Is these two markets predominantly UK and USA is you could start advising that, because there's a lot of companies from there who have their presence in India or would want to have setups in India and will require somebody locally around to assist in understanding the accounting aspects of it there.
So, sorry, just also building on what Falguni is saying, Arvind, uh, you can also make a decision on the basis of, whether you were looking at making any kind of investments, or did you just want to base it on your company's current turnover and things like that. Because Canada, again, is a good market for financial services as well. It's seeing a boom in terms of financial services. So whether you're looking at provinces like British Columbia, Vancouver and those cities in there, fintech and financial services are one of the top kind of practice areas. So if you had a little bit of spare cash and you wanted to invest about 1 to 2 CR, and then possibly you could also look at Canada as an option. So the bits that we talked about. I see a lot of questions, and I anticipate a lot of questions saying that, okay, what's going to be a market for my products, or am I going to have a viable market for my product? We do have a specific service where we do a market feasibility study for businesses, and we come back with a project report to say that, look, this is your prospects, or these are your competitors, this is what you can expect, and things like that. So one way is to say that, okay, look, I think, or I anticipate that this is going to be a good area for us. Can you tell us a little bit more? And the other approach is to say, I want to go here. How can you make it happen? So both of those are valid approaches, and depending on your expectations, we could answer that question from either one of those perspectives.
Great. So Arvind, if you have a follow-up question, feel free to go ahead and type in a follow-up question in the Q&A section. Thanks for that response. So next question from Matthew. His question is, can we clone British East India Company model, the spice route to do business? I don't know whether Matt just wanted to have a dig at this whole thing, or it was a serious question.
I think we missed the bus with the East India Company now, and anyway, the Indian IT sector rules it from the inside, so if you wanted to get a fix in, just get all the IT guys to switch over, and all of those economies would collapse any which way. So I think we've already done that, and now we'll send Bollywood out as well. So I think we'll the victory will be complete then.
If it helps, Matthews, 70% of the doctors in UK are Indian nationals, if that helps.
Okay, all right. Matthew, if you have a more serious questions, feel free to ask. But that was a good one. Thank you for that. Actually, Arvind has, no, he doesn't have followers. He said, please share your contact details. Yeah, Arvind, we'll be talking about how to get in touch with Hemang and Falguni right after the Q&A. Or do you want to do that right now? Is this a good time you want to just share the slides of how they get in touch with you? Maybe since ask as a question, because obviously you're going to get a call from Arvind very soon.
Yeah, that's us.
Okay, so great. So Mumbai is Sakinaka. That's your office there, and New Delhi is Connaught Place, okay? And Bangalore is MG Road. And what's between the email and phone? Who actually answers the call when this number is called? Who actually calls?
So we have a corporate business development team that looks at responding to these queries. So whatever is your nature of query, when you call into them, you have our associates who will will take in the first line in terms of the queries and things like that, and they'll filter it out in terms of, what is the appropriate response to it. So you'll have our head of, business development looking at responding to these queries.
Okay, great. So I guess that will give Arvind the. I mean, I'm sure he must have got these details. I will probably share this in the follow-up email, which I will be sending to many people that want to watch the recording. So they'll see this, but I'll also add it as a separate text in the email itself, so that they
Yeah.
can either write an email or call the number that's been displayed here. Thanks for that. All right. Next question is from Shrikar Shinoy. Hi, Shrikar, good to see you here. We manufacture products that help in preventing rejections and reduce costs in the steel, hot rolling, and hot forging industries. We are exporting on a small scale to Europe. We now seek local distributors for our products in Europe. Traders or industry professionals who are already selling non-competing products to these industries are our ideal match. Can you assist us in finding local distributors for our products in UK? Who wants to give a
Yeah,
stab at that?
I can take that.
Yeah.
So Shrikar, it's a very interesting question and a good situation to be in. And the short answer is that yes, we could help in finding local distributors for your kind of products in the UK. That's definitely a possibility. But a better one also is that you could actually nominate a senior employee of your business to be based in that country, and they could do this hands-on in terms of looking at identifying possible distributors, or even looking at selling the products indirectly, because in our experience we find that relationships where you are looking at finding local distributors and partners, they have a mixed result. If it works, it works. It's like any relationship or marriage. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then you're struggling to kind of keep it going. So in that sense, we generally find that from a company's perspective, it's a lot more better if they're able to send one of their own guys in, and it's not as expensive. It doesn't need to get tons of clearances. So if it's something that you have a bandwidth for, I think that would be a first port of call. But we're happy to have a chat with you to understand a little bit more about your business, and kind of validate that for you to say, okay, this would be a more cost-effective solution.
Awesome. Great. So, Shrikar, if you have a follow-up question, of course, you can always ask it right here. And of course, if you want to get in touch with them after this interview session, you can get in touch with them on the contact details that were shown earlier. I'll also be sending them to you later. Great. We have another question from an anonymous attendee. What are the prospects of exporting lighting products? Which countries can we target? I'm assuming LED and stuff. Just guessing.
Right. Again, I think it comes down to where do you anticipate a greater value for your product. I mean, we've had we had a couple of lighting company distributors who were intermediaries, and we recently did the applications for them successfully to be based in the UK. We also had somebody who wanted to be based in Canada because they were anticipating that the demand could be good for them in Canada, and they were looking at kind of a nominal investment to kickstart that process. So I think first impressions would be both UK and Canada. You'd also have to factor in your pricing in terms of whether you're making the product here in India or you're getting it drop shipped from China to these markets. So obviously factoring in costs around that, or from Hong Kong even going to those markets. So really, I think those will be the other considerations in there. But top of my mind, I think UK and Canada are probably a better fit for your product.
Great. Okay. Anonymous, if you have a follow-up question, feel free to type in your next question. And let me go to the next one. Next one is from Nikita Saha. Hi, everyone. I'm working in an automation company where we are developing a product into cybersecurity. Which country would you suggest to expand first?
Okay. So Ankita, if you are one of the key person who is responsible for the development, and you have technological skills yourself, so you have a background in tech or IT and all the rest of it. UK has a very good program called the Global Talent Visa, which allows you to enter as an individual, where you can show your your skill set. You can demonstrate that you are somebody who's got all of this information, and they've got degrees and they've got experience in this domain. If you wanted to enter in as a business, again, UK has a route called the Innovator Visa, which allows you to bring in new tech related businesses and concepts at a very nominal investment. So you need to show you have about 50,000 odd pounds to be able to invest in that business in the UK. And Innovator would be a good route for you as well. Similarly, Canada has a big demand for cybersecurity professionals. It's one of the hot industry areas as well. So if you fancy a trip across the pond, and 24-hour flights are not a problem, then yeah, Canada would be a good place for you to go. And if you can also take the winters as well.
So it looks like UK Canada is where the matka is. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yes, it's nice. It's a midway thing, it's not as bad, you don't have to kind of, travel as much. It's easy to set up, and there's a lot of legacy that we have. So, almost everyone that knows somebody who's based there. So there's a lot of familiarity in the place. And also the advantage is that because geographically it's a smaller, area, the cost of transport is less. If you want to set up a business and you wanted to ship something from London to Edinburgh, it's not going to cost you a fortune. Whereas, if you're in the US or Canada, given the distances and the cost of distribution, logistics is a killer for most businesses, especially small and medium businesses, because they get one order, they're based in Vancouver and they have to ship it across to Prince Edward, or they have to ship it, somewhere else. The cost of shipping is more than the product put together. So, that's why UK is more favored as a place for newer businesses to set up shop.
That's as long as the products are physical.
Yes. Yeah.
In the case of IT, then
Absolutely.
maybe not.
Absolutely. For a tech product, I mean, that's not a problem. But unless, sometimes you have to go to client locations for, doing setups or, all the rest of it, then that's a bit of a challenge as well.
Right. Okay. Okay. So Ankita, I hope we responded to your question. If you do have a follow-up question, go ahead and ask. Arvind is back here. Our office is just opposite to P&G at Andheri East. I will get in touch. You'll probably walk in here.
Small world, isn't it? Small world indeed.
So great. Shrikar is just saying, thank you. I would like to discuss further on this. I think we'll get in touch.
Pleasure.
Awesome. Fabulous. That's it. These are the questions we have. And I guess that's all we have to talk about. Did you guys want to have any concluding points before we say bye to everybody? Is there something you guys would like to share? Anything else that maybe I not bothered to ask?
Probably.
So yes, I think it's a wonderful opportunity at this moment. There has not been any better time than this for Indian entrepreneurs, Indian companies to expand outside. Also, as an individual, sometimes it's individual goals to offer better lifestyle to your offsprings, to your children, and give them a better opportunities, etc. I think there are a lot of programs which are now being offered, and there's a lot of new schemes which are available for individuals as well to take these decisions for their children, and of course for the corporates to expand. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and also, as I said in my conversation earlier, that having a setup outside India does help the company to generate a lot of revenue. It also helps you to have a better kind of a standing in front in lines with your competitors when you say you have presence in so many other countries. Also, most of these countries that we discuss and that we specialize into, as I said, and Hemang also affirmed, that they are geographically well connected. So if you're looking to base into UK, you are still geographically very close to a lot of European countries as well to serve through your products, etc., which kind of brings down your cost logistics and transports, etc., to an extent. And you being in Canada it's a big place to cover up into. So I think anybody do considering can get in touch. And as Himang rightly said, it's sometimes just the information which is not available, or the correct information which is not available. We see a lot of clients coming to us and saying that they're quite happy when they understood that they could also expand into different countries without investment. This was always one of the reasons that they thought that the only way to expand was through investments. Also the understanding factors that nowadays the properties, if you're investing into real estate, it's more or less at the same price that you can get something in a country outside India. And also you could get PR, which is a permanent residency, that allows you to leave work, study, and travel to different countries. So there is a lot of takeaways from one investment, and it goes beyond just helping the individual who's signing in, but also the family and the dependents as well. I'm sure also Himang would want to add something here from his end.
Yeah, and so before I do that, I've just got a raised hand from Nishant. Nishant, did you have a query or did you want to say something?
Oh no, I guess he put his hand down.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's
That
it.
happened by mistake.
Didn't want to put him on the spotlight, yeah? Okay, fair enough. No, I think Falguni's made a brilliant point in terms of how easy it is now to expand your presence. So it's not like the olden days where you had to worry about getting licenses or get clearances on FEMA and FERA and all the rest of it. So it's really become easier to do business in multiple markets and benefit from those opportunities. So if you think you see an opportunity, or if you know that there is an opportunity and you want someone to draw up the path for you, then we'd be happy to work with you to help take that step. And we are with you at every step of the way. So it's not only getting people to a country, but we also provide in country support. So if you need to get plugged into our networks, if you need help with infrastructure or anything on those lines, we'd be happy to kind of work through on that side as well. So I think that's essentially would be my take on it. And I think before we started this event, we were looking at saying that, okay, look, it is going to be 4:00 on a Tuesday. How many people are going to be looking at expanding their businesses at this time? And I'm happy to kind of see that there's a good amount of interest in there. So I think that in itself says something.
Yeah, awesome. Great.
So, thanks Rishi. Thanks for that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for doing this. And I just want to leave with one last note. We just saw some question coming up here. Sorry if I mistake. It's okay. I'm hoping, I'm trying to see if I can figure out how to target the audience for people who are abroad, like, they're working abroad, but they're probably coming back to India to get married. And you guys specialize in spouse visas as well. I'm not sure whether my database is with people of that type. It's a very focused niche area, but I'll see if I can do something where we can talk more about how you guys help people with what the deal is on spouse visas. Sorry.
Yeah. So again,
sorry, among you.
Yeah, no. So I think, as you said, it is a niche area, and it is something that we get a lot of it as a byproduct in terms of the services that we do, because a lot of times either they're single entrepreneurs or they're individuals who fall for somebody when they go to another country, and then they say, okay, now how do I look at staying back, with them, kind of a thing. So yeah, we do get that as an offshoot on there. So we'll look forward to kind of sharing some of our experiences on that as well.
Let me see if I can get an audience for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys once again, and it was great chatting.
Thank you so much for having us here. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. Have a great evening.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.